Let me go live. My sister is eagerly waiting.
Okay. Where is she? Bangalore or native?
Los Angeles.
Oh, she's in LA. Oh, okay.
So she and I, we were discussing in the morning. So we had more than 1 hour plus discussion on this subject. So I've sent one video that you can watch it later. It is about a person who gets 7 seconds memory. So he is a music composer, and all of a sudden, after he gets married second time, then he gets a virus attack. He gets fever, and he gets a virus attack, and that virus starts eating up parts of his brain. And in the process, he loses memory retention. So no amount of drug or whatever brings that back, but he's cured. So now he has been living like this for the last 35 or 40 years without having memory of his anything. He knows he was this, but he cannot recollect anything.
Oh.
Okay, so this morning I was telling my sister that what is spiritual liberation means. When we say liberation, what it really means. So if you want to really experience what is liberation, you should watch this video. It's not because that he has no brain, the brain cells are dead and hence is liberated, no, but he doesn't have any thoughts of anything whatsoever, and his memory stays only for 7 seconds, and after that it goes away. So he remembers seeing his son, but after 7 seconds, again, if somebody were to ask, who is this? And he says, oh, this is the first time I'm meeting this human being. Then again, they say that he's your son, and again, after 7 seconds, he forgets all about it. And he remembers his orchestra and all that, and his son when he was young and all that, but he doesn't remember anything after that. And he doesn't remember the instances. So basically, this Vivekachudamani, what we are dealing with, will take you there. This especially 352nd, 353 and all that will do that only. That is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Whatever imagined. So we have two kinds of imagination. One imagination is that we are always, the consciousness is feeding the information to the mind about what the events, what the person, what are the things all about. So this is called Vishaya. So now the realization here is that everybody has the same Vishaya. So now you realize that there is nobody there. It is you split up in 100 parts is what is realization. So if somebody were to say, I got realized, what it really means that there is no self. It's a universal self. And if somebody were to get to an opinion that he or she has got liberated, what it really means is that he or she does not exist because the memory itself doesn't produce that. Meaning the relationships are gone forever. You see the person as opposed to relationship with a person. So now what happens here is that when he were to or she were to transact in the world outside, Jagat, he brings in these concepts like daughter and sister and mother and brother and all of that and transacts. And once the transaction is over, that means once that the body moves away, either he moves away or that other person moves away, there is no retention of anything. That doesn't mean that he doesn't remember. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have memory. He has all the memory, but he wouldn't really what I can say, feels happy about meeting the person or sad about meeting the person, feels angry about meeting the person, or feels very much touched about meeting the person. He doesn't go into any of these two extremes. Say his mind is equanimous to both the situation. Now, in that situation, in the case of a liberated person, what is going to happen is that this person is going to be very compassionate with everyone and loving everyone, because he knows that the other persons are in total tamas, and there is no way he can bring into this level of what he is experiencing. So he wants all the other people to experience what he is experiencing, so he will become very accommodative to anybody. And since he doesn't have raga and dvesha and moha, all the three of them, he or she will be able to interact to an extent that if anything has to be done, that person will do it, because there is no I, and that other person who is taking that benefit from that person will feel a real calmness or a real happiness coming from this person, so he would like to become or get into that state. So this person then makes that change happen in that person. This is what it's all about. So this is how a normal person gets into realization and then gets liberated. Any questions? Or any comments? Forget question, any comments on this? So nobody wants to comment.
Yeah, it looks like nobody wants to comment.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
No worries. So we'll go to 353rd verse. We have finished 352. So 352 verse is that Nitya Advaya Akhanda Chit Eka Rupaha Buddhi Adi Sakshi Sat Asat Vilakshanaha Aham Pada Pratyaya Lakshitartha Pratyak Sadananda Ghanaha Paramatma. So we had covered this. So you get into Satchidananda. So that is what you will get. So you Nitya Advaya Akhanda Chit Eka Rupaha, eternal, non-dual, unbroken knowledge of one form. This is what this like a big mirror falling down and split up in 100 parts. So you will able to see this is one single mirror. Buddhi Adi Sakshi Sat Asat Vilakshana, the witness of the intellect, neither gross nor subtle. Aham Pada Pratyaya Lakshitartha, that implies the meaning of the term I, which is just a symbolism. Pratyak Sadananda Ganaha Paramatma, the inner being, embodiment of the eternal bliss. That is this big mirror. A smaller portion is what I am calling as I, is the nature of that mirror itself, and hence Satchidananda Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham, because Sat is the existence. That mirror exists irrespective of whatever anybody says. Chit is that consciousness, so the light which is falling when there's a reflection. Ananda is the bliss. So this is the experience of liberation in terms of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So the conclusion here in 353rd verse is Itham Vipaschit Sada Sad Asad Vibhajya Nischitya Tattvam Nija Bodha Drishtya Jnatva Swam Atmanam Akhanda Bodham Tebhyaha Vimuktaha Swayam Eva Shamyati. Itham, this or thus, Vipaschit, one whose chit is able to see what is happening, sad asad vibhajya, can be able to distinguish or discriminate between the real and the unreal. Nishchitya tattvam nijabodha drishtya, who is established in the truth by the insight of his own knowledge, Jnatva swam atmanam akhanda bodham, who has realized his own self to be unbroken knowledge, Tebhyaha vimuktaha swayam eva shamyati. So he becomes shama, means extinguished. Shamyati means completely extinguished. So the person that is I, as so and so person, is completely extinguished. There's no trace of it, and hence becomes peaceful and tranquil. So what's the test? What's the litmus test here? Number one, the split of the mirror, that is a big mirror, let's say mirror of 1 kilometer in size, as an example. It can be in whichever shape, spherical shape or a square or a rectangular or whatever shape, falls down and gets split up in hundreds and thousands parts. So the litmus test is that, number one, this mirror is identified as mirror, not as an individual. The first test. Even though it is spread wide apart. So now presently we are one mirror, 5 reflections at present. So if this I as an individual mirror is able to see the other 4 as the same mirror, then that becomes realization that it is the same mirror. So there is no person now. So the moment I do that, this I is seen as Padma Shri and Shri Hari and Bhatt and Lata at present in transaction, but the same mirror. This is the first test. Second, the mirror alone exists, not the reflection. Only when somebody peeps onto it, that is, I peep onto it, it gets reflected. If I doesn't peep onto it, it doesn't get reflected. So the image what is getting reflected is shunya, nothing in there. It's because of the mirror there is reflection, but however there is no real reflection at all. It reflects whatever is being shown there. So now that becomes swabhava. That is, everybody has their own bhava, called as swabhava. What is this bhava? The bhava is the emotions and all that what comes out. Basically in 3 types. One is a sattva guna, rajo guna and tamo guna. That gets reflected on the mirror and shows up as though that person exists with this guna. Whereas it is only the reflection. There is nothing which is appearing in that mirror at all. So if a tree is getting reflected, is because tree is there, but tree is not inside that mirror. But the reflective surface seems to be that the tree is inside this. In the same way, somebody shows up on that, and that is called as wife, and it seems as though the wife is inside this mirror, but no wife exists, no husband exists, but it seems to be the truth. So it is conventional reality. So for convenience it is said so, but nothing of that exists. So when itham vipaschit sad asad vibhajya Nischitya tattvam nijabodha drishtya jnatva swam atmanam akhanda bodham tebhyaha vimuktaha swayam eva shamayati. So when this is seen, what is seen? That this reflection is unreal, the mirror is real. It reflects whatever is shown there. So if the wife is shown there, it reflects as wife. If a husband is shown there in the same place, it shows itself as husband. If Padma Shri is shown there, it reflects itself as Padma Shri. If Bhatt is shown there, it shows itself as Bhatt. If some other thing is shown, it reflects itself as that. If a project is shown there, it shows as though it is a project. But none of that is real. And if this nijabodha drishtya jnatva swamatmanam akhanda bodham, so if this is realized by its own self, that is as one single mirror, then the person is completely liberated. Yes, but
Yeah. In the previous sloka, that is Nitya Dvaya Khanda, there, so we are trying to understand what is Sat and what is Asat.
correct.
But is it that Sakshi is different compared to Sat and Asat?
Sakshi is the same.
Sat and Sakshi both are same, right?
Yes.
Because the meaning is slightly, there's a problem. I will just read this out.
Yeah,
in
sure. Go
Kannada.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಶಾಶ್ವತನು ಅದ್ವಯನು ಅಖಂಡನು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸ್ವರೂಪನು ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಮೊದಲಾದವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯು ಸತ್ತು ಮತ್ತು ಅಸತ್ತುಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಭಿನ್ನನು. ಅಹಂ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯಕ್ಕೂ ಅಹಂ ಪದಕ್ಕೂ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯಾರ್ಥವಾಗಿರುವನು ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಸ್ವರೂಪನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಶುದ್ಧ ಆನಂದ ರೂಪನು ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಸತ್ತು ಮತ್ತು ಅಸತ್ತುಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಭಿನ್ನ. So that's the reason I thought.
Yeah, Bhinna is in terms of individualization. So if Sakshi is treated as an individual, then it is Bhinna. If the Sakshi is just Sakshi, then it is no Bhinna.
Okay. It's a guna, right? Sakshi within that Sat.
Yes, Sakshi is the mirror. The reflection is self, which is Bhinna. Okay, so there are two Bhinna. One is Bhinna, one is Vibhinna. You know the difference?
Vinna means different things.
Correct. Vibhinna.
Yeah.
No, what is Bhinna and what is Vibhinna?
Vinna is different. And Vibhinna is, that's a variation within the difference.
Yes, that's correct. So Vibhinna means that there is certain relationships which is intrinsic to it, which is Vibhinna. Bhinna is just difference. So there is a difference between me and you, but there is no relationship. But the moment you set a relationship, it becomes Vibhinna. Within that Bhinna.
But the moment you get the feel of that Sat, Sat is everything and it is there everywhere, and it is just energy. Like in our life now, something happens positively, you get suddenly good energy. The energy was there already inside. Because we heard something, it's triggered and it's unlocked, and that happiness comes out. Happiness or peace. So it is the same for all. And if you are able to touch that, with touch that Sat is nothing but it is there everywhere.
Correct.
We are realized.
No, yeah, you are realized, but this is about liberation. Here,
Yeah, no, again, I'll go one step next.
yeah.
The moment, see, I am sitting somewhere in the park now, simply closing my eyes in the morning hours. Then I am trying to, in my mind, visualize this. What is Asat and what is Sat? Okay, I'm not doing jhana, but I'm only trying to visualize. Okay, jhana means trying to drop everything, or it has to drop automatically. But here, it is trying to understand Sat and Asat. In the mind, the moment I differentiate, if I am able to touch Sat and able to understand Sat, can I say I realized that? Through mind I am doing it.
Everything you have to do through mind only.
Yeah. No, we talk about if you drop the mind, then you are realized. Here what I am telling is the mind only I am trying to realize.
No, the
Jagrata Avastha mind is working, I know very well.
Okay, so let me give you clarity here. It is through the mind only you are doing it. You cannot do anything without the mind. Because consciousness is just that mirror. Mind is that reflection which is happening, the reflection, not the reflective surface, the reflection. Okay. Now, when you are watching, you become Sakshi. When I say I become Sakshi, what it means?
Yes.
Sakshi means I'm becoming the mirror instead of the reflection.
With that understanding, if I'm a Sakshi, I'll be just watching my thought. That's it. I don't want to visualize my mind.
No.
That is Sakshi.
Wait for a second. The moment it becomes Sakshi, the thoughts will not arise. There is nothing to reflect.
Thought will not arise. Then visualization happens before that only. Because if there is no thought, no visualization.
Now this is the oxymoron thing. See, it's like this. Now, I'll give you an example. There is a lake.
Yes.
The lake is reflecting everything, including sky, trees, and everything. It looks so real. That is called Maya. Correct? Agreeable to this, extent? Okay.
That reality is Maya. Clear.
That is the reflection of the sky and trees and everything in that lake is Maya.
Yes.
Okay. Now you is a third person to that Maya.
Yes. Correct.
Now you put your face to it. What happens?
So means that I will be watching myself as a part of that Maya.
No. You put your face. You see that lake and you get mesmerized by the lake. So now you put the face there. What happens?
If I see the face, then I will reflection of my face I can see.
Exactly. Not only that, you are able to recognize your face with the trees and with that sky and everything. Correct?
Yes, correct. Everything is a reflection. Everything.
Everything is a reflection. Now, does the sky exist in that lake?
No, it is only water.
No, you forget whether water or not. It is just a reflection, right? It's a still lake. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the moment you see your face, everything gets positioned.
Yes.
If you remove your face, what happens? If you stop watching it, what happens?
We don't watch, I don't see.
Exactly. No, it disappears.
Disappears.
What disappears? Did the tree disappear? Or the reflection disappear?
That picture disappears because there is no attention from my side.
Exactly the same thing happens when you watch Sakshi, the thoughts will disappear.
Okay, now it's clear.
If you are in that
So immediately you will enter into Samadhi.
exactly, that is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That's all.
1 minute. Nirvikalpa I have understood now. It vanishes, example, everything is matching. Savikalpa Samadhi means?
Savikalpa Samadhi means you are in the lake. But you are aware that it is not only you, it is everything there.
Oh, that awareness is Savikalpa. Okay, I'm able to see. There is something I'm able to see. And I'm relating, I'm using my mind. That's Savikalpa. The moment if I drop the mind, I'm only Sakshi, witnesser. That is Nirvikalpa.
Yes. So
Savikalpa will have mind. Nirvikalpa will not have. Even mind is also dropped.
Yes, sir. That is correct. So the test is that you watch the lake and you get so much mesmerized by the lake.
Yeah. Correct.
That is called samsara. First thing.
Thinking that it is like real.
Lake is real. That is samsara. Now what you do is you jump into that lake, thinking that you will get all of this, the tree and
then you have to swim. Otherwise you will be immersed inside.
That is what we are doing now. We have got into the water. We are trying to find out how to get out of water now.
And we are swimming, we want to swim faster than others in the same samsara, but
Yes.
within the lake only.
Within the lake only. Nobody can jump
We are
out
not
of the
looking
lake.
at the dada. Excellent example, this one.
Okay. Now what happens when you jump into the lake? All the reflection is gone. Only you are the reflection now.
Everything is gone.
So the tree is gone, the sky is
Yes.
gone, the all that what was seemingly good is gone. Now you are trying to fight for your life, because now you have to eat, you have to work, you have to do everything, because now you are in the lake. You cannot jump out of the lake.
Right.
Okay.
First
Now-
part is survival, second part is a luxury there.
So now you have to find something to hold on to, and that holding on to is what is called as a house and family and job and everything.
Everything is temporary.
Not only temporary, it is getting disintegrated, meaning that lake is a whirlpool, it keeps on sucking.
Yes.
So ultimately, all the items in that lake will disappear.
Yes.
Isn't it or not? So the parent was there, they disappeared. Children were there, they disappeared.
It's like a movie. Comes and goes.
Exactly. Now, if you were to sit on the shore of the lake, that means somehow you came out.
Now you will have Savikalpa Samadhi possibility.
Now you see, oh my goodness, this is the lake I jumped into. This is Savikalpa. Now you can see the imagination. That is, sky is imagined, the cloud is imagined, the tree is imagined, and people down there also imagine. They are not real.
Yeah. Everything is.
You find yourself in everything now, because that is the lake.
Yes.
Now what you do is, you know this lake is very enticing, charming and all that. Because it has Savikalpa, imagination of self. Sa is self. It is self-imagined. Now what you're going to do is, you'll turn your back to that lake.
Yes.
So that moment, the lake and its contents disappear. Now where is the thought? This is what is the deep sleep state all about. So now you are...
It is the same as this example, right? There is a space inside the house. That means my body inside space is equivalent to my Jivatma.
Correct.
And actually, this Jivatma is there in the space. Overall, the house is in the space. That is nothing but our final Atma.
Correct. That's all.
It is there everywhere.
Yes. So there is homes are everywhere. So also these human beings, right?
Then a space. I am talking about the space is there everywhere. Not a single thing you can find without space.
Exactly.
Everywhere space.
And that space...
The house is built. It is built in the
space
only.
And earth is where? In the space.
In the space.
So everything is within the space only.
And this is Ananta.
Absolutely. So this is Ananta Akasha. In that remains consciousness.
So the space, everywhere in the space there is Brahman, right? Chaitanya.
Yes. So when I and Lata were reading the Yoga Vasishtha, 57th page, exactly talks about this. So Saraswati says that there is this Akasha, in that you have consciousness. Maybe Lata can add, because we both have gone through the entire pages until 113th page. So we have gone through that in various discussions. So Saraswati says that this is where consciousness is, within the space.
That is very interesting.
Lata, you want to add something?
So I wanted to say space is also an illusion.
And after that, space is an illusion.
So then, so I feel that when you say consciousness is within the space, it also kinds of misleads. It is a step-by-step understanding, probably.
Correct. No, that in that Yoga Vasishta, she first explains this and says that you see it without the space. You will only see consciousness.
Yeah. Only consciousness. Correct.
So that is the practice then, again.
Yeah. So I think first you have to, what you told was exactly right. So the space within you and the space outside, all are the same. It's just space.
It's just space.
So there is one step of understanding. So then once you understand space, then it's easy to understand the consciousness.
Exactly. So then it becomes...
So I will just read this one. Upanishad Sara exactly talks same thing what Lata is talking now.
Go ahead.
That is in the Brahmananda Valli. Brahmavida apnoti param tadeshabhyukta satyam jnanam anantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman sooshnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipaschiteti. Now you see next one. Tasmadva etasmadatmana akasha sambhuta akashat vayuh vayoragnihi agnerapah adhya prithvi prithivya oshadayah oshadibhyonnam annat purushah sava esha purushonnara samayah tasya dameva shirah ayam dakshina pakshah ayam uttara pakshah ayam atma idam pucham pratishtha tadaplesha shloko bhavati.
Very good.
So the space exactly is explained.
Yes. And that is correct.
Tasmadva etasmadatmana akasha sambhutah. Means what?
You have already answered that. If you can slowly read, you can yourself understand that.
Tasmadva etasmadatmana.
No, what is tasmat?
Tat means that. Atman.
No, tasmat means then.
Then.
Okay. Then go ahead.
Etasmadatmana akasha sambhuta.
Etad atmanah. This Atman.
Oh, in that akasha is sambhuta.
Yes. Because there is
So
consciousness.
that means akasha is also illusion here.
No.
Space.
Because of consciousness, you are able to see this space. That's what it means.
Yes, that's right.
You are able to visualize space. Okay.
Otherwise, there is no space. Without consciousness, you cannot experience space. Yes or no? Without.
Yes.
Without.
So on Atma, space is Tishtati.
Yes, on that consciousness, when you are conscious, the space gets formed.
Yeah, and there is also in Yoga Vasishta, there is one example of King Padma and his wife. And then they are in a big palace, and in their previous life they were Vasishta and Arundhati in a small hut. So Saraswati is telling them, so they have not left that hut, space of the hut itself. Inside that hut, that palace is there. So you see, so that is the illusion of space and time.
Correct.
And then already so many years have passed after this King Padma and his wife is ruling that kingdom. But the Vasishta and Arundhati has been dead only for a week in that dimension. Only 8 days. But then here years have passed. So that is an illusion. The space is not like, we feel like, there's a huge universe. There's a lot of space, millions and millions of miles and billions of miles and all. All that is also an illusion.
Yes, that is illusion created by consciousness.
Illusion created by consciousness. Yes, exactly. So I think the consciousness first creates the illusion of the space comes, and then everything else comes added on that. First is space.
Space is not part of Panchabhuta. It is independent, right? That principle.
No, it is part of Panchabhuta only.
No, but what they generally do is 1 plus 4. The 4 things can be felt. The 5th one, space cannot be felt. The space cannot be felt, right? Do you feel space right now?
if you really think, yes, it is there.
No, you forget about thinking. Do you all the time feel that you are space?
Feeling the Panchendriyas, you are not able to. Only Vayu can see.
From Vayu downward.
You can see all 5 things. Bhumi is having all 5.
No,
Vayu is only Shabda.
no, wait. When you come to the gross level, that is Prithvi, you can sense everything. One level above, Apo, little, not as gross as.
Smell is not there. Above.
Then when you go into Tejo, which is Agni, still less. Do you feel temperature all the time? No.
Yeah. Every time one less.
Yes. Then do you feel the Vayu? Meaning, do you feel the breath all the time? No. Then Akasha. So
it is Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. Akasha means you can only through Shabda you can feel. That is Akasha.
Yes.
That means one person talking to other person.
Yes.
The Vayu means when it is going through our body, it is Sparsha. You get
Yes.
now Vayu will have Shabda and Sparsha.
Correct.
The next is this Teja.
Yes.
Agni will have additional thing Rupa, which is visualization.
Correct.
And Apa will have even taste also.
Yes.
Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, all. Prithvi will have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all 5.
All 5. Correct.
So that means Akasha is okay. It is also Panchabhuta.
Yes, it is Panchabhuta, but you cannot feel that. So it is always called as 1 plus 4 experience.
Yes.
So you are supposed to only concentrate on the 4 elements.
A person who is not able to hear, for him Akasha is missing.
Yes. But he can sense the other 4.
Yes.
Like that.
Excellent. So even Akasha is also illusion for us.
Yes.
Once you really understand, really for yourself understand space is an illusion, then you are already understood what is Brahman.
Yeah.
Because Brahman is above all the 5.
Yeah.
Right now, but as we speak, we are in the gross world, which is Prithvi.
Yeah, correct.
So husband, wife, office, everything becomes real entity.
So we have to slowly take smell, taste, seeing, touch and sound away.
And that is called as withdrawal of senses. That is what is Shama and Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhana, Shraddha is all about.
Yeah, that nose, tongue, eyes, skin and our ears. So, but by prarabdha we are having all those things.
No, Prarabdha is there.
Body is by prarabdha, right?
No, Prarabdha is there and hence this state, present state.
Correct.
It's not that.
That means by birth we are born in samsara.
Yes, because we jumped
And
into
from
that.
samsara we are trying to go away using our
Buddhi. You are using the same intellect. See, you are using the same mind, but this is a purified mind. Some time ago, when we were discussing, Padma Shri used one nice phrase, which I want to bring it now. She said, mind exists, but mind will be purified. And at that time, I was telling her that you have to drop the mind, or you have to uncondition the mind, or something like that. So it is a language what we were using. Now this becomes quite evident here. So the purification here is, number 1, you realize that you saw a reflection. Number 2, you realize that you jumped into the lake. Number 3, you realize that you should not get into the lake.
Yes.
So what is getting purified? You, which is the mind.
Correct.
Who jumped into the lake? Mind.
Everything is mind.
And who
And
wants,
feeling cold, hot, everything is also mind.
yes, so who wants to get liberated? Mind.
Liberated is
In the
Jivatma,
mind.
right?
Whatever you want to call it, Jivatma. See, because we don't want to associate with the mind, we have to use another phrase called as Jivatma.
Yes.
It's another word. Can you find Jivatma?
That is representation. That's it.
This is just to say that, see, now there are two ways of looking at it. One, you go by Upanishad way and say that drop the mind. Now when you go and drop the mind, what will remain? GV. But GV is part of intellect, so you have to drop GV also, which is what we did in earlier discussion about Vivekachudamani, right? So we have to stick in language in some way to make it understandable. But in actuality, if you talk about actual, neither the GV exists, that is also an illusion, and the mind is also an illusion. They both don't exist. If you can know this much, that's all what is required. Only because we want to differentiate, identify, say how this works, how that works, we have to separate out the mind from something and saying that this is mind, this is not mind, and all that. Because of expression, we have to express. So like what Lata said, is that if you take space is an illusion. Now any person, any sane person will say that how is it an illusion? I am able to experience space. Now nobody asked this question, how are you experiencing space? It is because you become conscious, then only you experience space. Otherwise you can't experience space.
Yeah, I think only when your observer is there, observed exists.
Correct.
We have a notion that the observed exists irrespective.
Yes. So
But then only when observer is there, then only that observed exists.
right. So only when the lake is there, the lake exists. Meaning the lake is seen, the lake exists. If you don't see the lake, then the lake doesn't exist.
So this is possible only as an individual to reach there, not as team, right?
No, not at all possible, because you have no.
Moksha is individual.
Yes,
Individual, yes.
because you have jumped into the lake. Not that everybody has jumped into. They don't know they have jumped into the lake. You have got realized that
Yes.
by mistake you jumped into the lake. So, in our previous life,
So there is one, I don't know from where, one sloka, I was just thinking about that. This is from probably Rigveda. It says very common. Samaniva akutihi samana hridaya nivaha samana vastuvo mano yatava susahasati. Which means all studies, that's all together, unity. And all hearts, hridaya, together, oneness, and all minds together. And all be together with unity and integrity.
correct, which is equivalent to that big lake where everybody has jumped.
So together we can do what do you call this? Manas we can bring like this satsanga, and we can think about something. But finally, practice by individual.
Practice by that mind, because now that mind has to be able to see the illusion and not illusion. Sat asat. Now we can be discussing like this, but 5 of us presently. But what each individual mind does, nobody can do anything, right?
But cleansing happens in this
It happens.
samana minds coming together.
Yes, it happens. Absolutely, it happens. But now, whether the person comes to realize that it is just a reflection of the lake and not the lake at all, or the person feels that no, the lake also exists, I also exist, which is what Dvaita is all about, that is left to that person.
See, what we are doing is probably, it's like taking daily bath. That means mind gets polluted in the samsara and again doing meditation. Polluted, again doing. But for a progress point of view, the samsara should be reduced a lot, right?
No, it's not like that. You should be able to, or all the five right now should be able to see the reflection. That is samsara. Not that
So that we are able to visualize if you sit alone and start
contemplating
contemplating
while doing the job, while attending to meetings, while attending to your children, while attending to your wife or husband, while interacting with somebody, including a vegetable vendor. If you are able to do that, then you will see the reflection.
It is Sakshi Bhava.
Yes, absolutely.
See, now I will tell you one example. You can just help me to understand. Somebody is my close friend. He is coming to me and he is asking for some help. Maybe monetary help. He is asking, give me, say, 5 lakhs rupees now. I have some urgency. Then I will return after some time. Now immediately my mind start thinking, why this guy is asking 5 lakhs? He was okay. What happened to him? During this time, I am immediately jumping into that decision making process. All picture I will bring about him, about his background. Then I am not, because I also may not have money. I am paying my EMI, I have loans, blah, blah, blah. So here, what is Sakshi Bhava and what is the action I am supposed to take?
The Sakshi Bhava is that name of 5 lakh number. What did it do to you? Did it make it excited? Did it make worry? Did it make concerned? Did it make what? That's just a sound which came. So
Yes.
Akasha will provide sound. So some sound came, right? Now what do you want to do? If you have, you give. If you don't have, don't give. Simple.
You see here, one step next. Because I am with my samsara, I have no rights to give just like that 5 lakhs rupees to somebody. Maybe I don't know whether I'll get that money back or not, because I have some lot of my own plans on that money. 5 lakhs is not a small amount. Now, if I don't give, my friend may get completely relationship. He may think, what is this? This person is not helping. So there is tumula happens within my mind. So in the tumula, how to address? That is the question.
The tumula is that you jumped into the lake.
Yes, I am there now because I have no option. It is just
No.
Either I should give, or I should not give, or I should do something in between.
No, there is a very simple thing. If you give,
Yeah, spiritually, how to address this issue?
no, it's a very simple thing. If you give, you will get bad name in the family.
Yes,
If you give, if you don't give, you'll get a bad name with your friend.
exactly. This is the
Right now, what you have to do? You have to see whether if he doesn't give 5 lakh also, it is his karma, right? Not yours.
Yes.
So can you give him 5 lakh without worrying whether he'll give it or not?
Without worrying, I may be okay to give 1 lakh rupee, not 5 lakhs.
Then you give 1 lakh.
That is a Krishna Arpanamastu, like that.
Yes.
If he gives, fine. Doesn't give, okay.
Yes. Or
So my decision is 1 lakh, and then don't have any problems, right? In mind.
no, it doesn't. Meaning you are literally not connected with that money. If he gives, fine.
Yes.
If he doesn't give, also is fine. You are disconnecting from there.
Yes.
Okay, and you feel that if you were in that position as your friend, you would have done the same thing. You would have asked your friend.
Yeah,
Correct? So out of compassion, Karuna, you give him 1 lakh.
Yeah.
Because that's the max you can afford at this point in time.
Yes.
So now you have used Viveka. Asat and Sat. What is Asat here? both are asat. That is, 5 lakh is also asat, 1 lakh is also asat. But what is that you need to do as a family member, as a family person? You can't give everything, because then you have already chosen for paying EMI or this or that or whatever. So even if your friend doesn't give, how much you can give him as donation? 1 lakh. Okay, 1 lakh.
Yes.
Case closed. And you don't remember.
I think I got the answer. I just wanted that one. Then
Yes.
I know that I'm just extrapolating. Now it's coming that somebody in his family is seriously ill, is hospitalization. I want 5 lakhs. Then yes, full 5 lakhs. No problem.
No, it's not like that. No.
That I can.
No, don't put this, that if it's hospitalization, I'll give 5 lakh. If it is not hospital, I'll give 1 lakh. No. It doesn't matter what is the reason, whether it is medical reason or otherwise. See, they both are burning only, right?
See, here, other one cause is clearly known to us, and it's empathy, both sides. But the first case is, we don't know what he explains, really, because we can't trust.
Why?
Even though a good people can behave in a different way.
No, that is okay, but why are you taking that? See, he says that...
If I don't take, then I am not following dharma. See, for example, you see that I am not aware. He may be gambling somewhere. He lost money. Suddenly he wants money, which I am not aware. So the reason is not justifiable. He gives some reason, not justifiable.
No.
During that time, I think that if I lose 1 lakh is okay. My mind says okay, no problem. Because he's my friend. But now, if it is a medical emergency for his close family member, then it is my duty to go and support. See, now duty means I use the word, that is dharma.
No.
So depending on the situation, I have to act, right?
No, it is both are same. But see, now let us say somebody is battling with cancer. You are giving 5 lakh to that person.
Yes.
Will he give it back to you?
If he doesn't give also, I feel satisfied, because
No, wait for a second. No, wait for a second. In your mind, you are given value to cancer.
Yes.
In your mind, you have not given value to gambling. They both are same, right?
See, this is the problem. No, first one is not gambling. I don't know, but it is not
Fine,
justifiable.
whether gambling or putting in on his business or putting in something or whatever, right?
Yes, my decision is based on that.
No,
So far.
no, wait for a second. Life itself is a gamble, right?
Yes.
So the cancer getting cured is a gamble. He getting business is a gamble. And he
So
may...
what you're telling is apply spirituality. If you decide 1 lakh is Itishri, do it. Only 1 lakh. Don't
Yes.
increase the amount because of that reason.
Yes, don't add value which itself doesn't have any value. See, you give 5 lakh because somebody was suffering out of cancer and he gave it to the hospital.
Yes.
So you are donated to hospital, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Ultimately, you are donated to hospital.
Yeah. Somebody's effort to compensate.
So no, but the money went to hospital basically.
Yes.
Okay. Is it going to come back to you?
No.
No. Now you have given it to his business. 5 lakh. He is not going to give it back. At least there is some ray of hope that he might give back to you.
Yes.
When you give for this, there is no ray of hope also that you are going to get it back. But here the problem. Your mind says this is a noble cause because he is so and so is battling with cancer, so I am willing to give it to the hospital. Here he is doing business. That fellow, I don't know what he is going to do with that. He might return, he might not return, so I'll give only 1 lakh. That is wrong. They both are the same reflection only. One is hospital, another one is business. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you have to give 5 lakh to both, or you have to give 1 lakh to both.
So that is the right way to deal, right? Okay.
Yes.
It was not there in mind like that so far.
Yes. It is about giving, right? How does it matter whether you give 1 lakh or 5 lakh or 5,000 rupees? How does it matter?
So it's equivalent to, if I have decided this year I am going to do dana dharma of 2% of my income, so I can give it to anybody. But 2% giving, be happy. Done.
Exactly. Whether it is for cancer, it is for something else, or it is
But
for...
gambling I should not give. I know that I am creating problem for somebody. But it is a purpose is good. Then don't verify to that extent.
See, somebody will come and say, yeah, somebody will come and say, look, I'm having problem with my business. Can you offload something till I earn something?
Yeah.
And he might be telling lies, he might be telling the truth.
Yes.
What is happening in your mind is more important than what he is saying to you.
Right.
So if I am that person who is supposed to give, and I start evaluating, and I start cursing him, you don't know how to do business, and that's the reason you made so much of loss and all that, and giving him sermon, that doesn't make any sense. What I should do is use the same compassion. I have money, gift it to him, leave it there. I don't have to tell him, if you want you return back, otherwise don't return. That is also I don't have to say. Leave it. He burns it. Okay, that is his problem, not my problem, right? So my dana is done. Now somebody comes and says that, look, I am in dire straits because my wife is admitted to hospital. I require this money. And this friend of mine is asking for business, whereas his wife, I know that they are suffering. So, and he doesn't have money to pay for his hospital, right? Now what should I do? I'll first have to give it to the hospital, because this guy can earn living, whereas that person is dying. So here I can use some discretion of giving the same 50,000 rupees or 5 lakh or whatever it is. That I can do. But I will have to give both the same amount. Not do that, okay, he is going for business, I'll give 1 lakh, whereas this guy is suffering, his wife or somebody is suffering, or her husband is suffering, so I will give 5 lakh. It should be the same amount, irrespective of the cause.
Okay, it is like this. If I have decided this year this is for dana dharma, just give only that much and be happy.
Exactly.
If anybody has anything more, no need to give, because you will be comfortable. Only this is temporary, you will have some emotion not given later on. It will disturb you if you go outside of that limit.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
I think this is the clarity we get when we are young. Yes. This is dharma based.
Yes, it is dharma based. So also we are at time, 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30. Shall we continue tomorrow?
Yes. All right.
Thank you, Vilas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye.